Haley and I went to NYU together, but...
Oh, no way! Wait, what was that like?
Yeah, well, it was kind of awkward because it was sort of like we knew that if we hung out, people would laugh and people would like take pictures and stuff. So
Did they?
we would make eye contact sometimes, and we'd met before. And I remember telling him, having like this huge talent crush on him when I was a kid, and meeting him like once or twice before and being like, "You're so good, you're so great."
So good.
But then we would be in like the dining hall together and we'd like make eye contact and then look away. And I think we were just kind of like, yeah, we've got our own. And
You're like, this is too
weird.
Too expected.
And I was a hermit at NYU anyway. I was in like an all-consuming relationship and, you know, just going to like my theater group parties where we would like draw each other nude for class. And, you know, I was in a very theater.
That's a vibe.
Yeah.
Is that in the book?
I think it was, or I think actually there was a part about it and I had to take it out because we had to cut things down.
Oh, man.
But we did. We all drew each other nude for a class.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it was we would all get together and
I was gonna say, were you out? Like, were you like, oh wait, this is interesting. This is something I'm doing and
I mean, like closeted? No, I was closeted until I was like 27. Like.
So that wasn't a sensual experience for you. That was more like...
Yeah, it wasn't a sensual thing. It was very much, it was actually kind of, well, if you want me to tell the story, I can, because it's actually really fun.
Tell the damn story.
Okay, so, and the teacher who did this was kind of the teacher who did this was, I mean, a lot of art teachers are a little creepy. A lot of theater teachers are a little creepy.
Oh yeah, acting teachers creepy?
Oh, yes. But it was like a tradition because we were in these different groups, and this group were people that you would be with. Like they were your class.
Yeah, it was like a conservatory.
Yeah, it was.
At NYU?
So yeah, and there were different small groups. And so some of them like, and in my program at NYU, there were some, and like, there's still so many of them. Like one of them, his sister is my lit agent, and another one I've been talking to. He's an actor who works a lot for TV and commercials. His name is Michael Olivier. He was on Glee and Castle and like everything in the 2010s. He was just on Good Trouble.
Oh, great.
He's one of my dearest friends.
He's a working actor.
Yeah, he's a working actor, and he's so sweet and so adorable. Just had a baby, him and his wife, and like soon we're gonna go to a friend's wedding together, and like all of us, so we're all still good friends.
That's awesome.
So we go to, but this is like a thing that we do that, you know, every year these people do, and we do it, and I'm really nervous. So I like find people on our floor, and I'm like, do you have any alcohol? You know, and I do a shot of something because I'm so nervous about it, and then we all end up at this dorm on Fifth Avenue. And we go there and we go into the dance room and we're all like, you know, stripping off. And then this being a freshman dorm, somebody knocks on the door and is like, you guys did not sign this out properly. You have to go. And because freshmen are like notorious about like, we have to follow the rules, guys. So we're all like half naked and we're just like, oh shit, okay. So we put our clothes back on and we go out and we're all really frustrated. And somebody's like, well, why don't we go to the dorm on 3rd Avenue? Which is, you know, 4 avenues over, but we're only a couple weeks. This is the end of our first semester freshman year, so we're like, wow, that's a trek when it's so cold outside. So we trek, you know, a couple avenues over, and we go up to the penthouse of 3rd North, which is the dorm, and we go up there, and we all start taking our clothes off, except for a couple people. There's some people there who like, maybe they're more religious, maybe they have some body issues, you know.
They're doing the assignment though.
They're doing the assignment. They're there to draw other people. That you had to draw yourself nude, but you didn't have to show it in class. It was just to get practice with drawing a body, and then you had to draw somebody else nude.
Was everyone over 18?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was
all
like,
over 18.
All
over 18.
And this is something they do every year at NYU.
They used to. I don't know if they still do. I think that, but you don't have to do it. That's the thing. But it's theater students, so most people want to do it.
Yeah.
But it was also like, you don't have to do it. You can be a spectator if you want. Nobody's going to make you take your clothes off. Nobody's going to do this. Also, you can just go to the Met and draw a statue if you want.
That makes sense.
So we go there, but what happens is somebody forgets to close the blinds.
Oh.
So they start getting calls in the penthouse because they're actually these two huge buildings that face each other. And people are calling saying, do you know there's a bunch of naked people on the top floor?
Only in New York.
And so we flip out. We're like, oh my God, people are seeing us naked. And we see people over there like looking at us. And it's the worst because that is my worst nightmare come to life is, somebody seeing me nude. And I'm freaking out and everybody else is freaking out. And some of the people are like, I can't handle this. I'm going to go. I'll draw a statue. They leave. And so this one guy, Chris goes up to close the blinds and put a blanket over them, but he does that fully nude.
Oh my God.
So Chris explained later that both his parents were doctors and kind of possibly nudists. So he was just like, I'm so used to seeing bodies that I just don't give a shit. So they saw me naked, but I don't care. But after that, it was kind of like the worst thing had happened. And so we all just kind of looked at each other and just started to laugh. And it was like we had faced a terrible fear. The fear is, somebody seeing you naked.
Well, and you having body dysmorphia.
Oh, yeah.
That's
definitely
a huge, and I
definitely
think it's really a wonderful story because you didn't have to do it all by yourself like you did so many times before.
So and honestly, my body dysmorphia at that point was probably more about my face. But after that, some people left and were like, I'm too uncomfortable with this. We were like, no, go, totally fine. The rest of us hang out together and it was just really nice. And there was just a lot of mutual respect. There was nobody needed to do anything. Like, I think I took my top off, but I left like my bottoms on, and I had friends. I think like we were just very respectful of each other. And there was like the guy that I drew, he was a dancer, so he had all these like beautiful back muscles, and he was like, yeah, totally, go ahead, draw me. And I remember my friend turning to me and drawing me and just going, Mara, you have very nice breasts. But he meant it in like a purely aesthetic, friendly way. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And and I think some of us probably still have the drawings, but we all trust each other with it. And it felt really nice. And I think it also, I don't think it like did much for like my sexuality, but like.
Well, I think it almost sounds like it was the opposite.
It was, but I will say that I was in a serious relationship about that time. In fact, I remember him asking me like, hey, so what are you doing this weekend? And I was like, oh, I'm going to a naked drawing party. And he was like, okay. But I also think that it did make me feel more comfortable to be naked in front of somebody, which if you're in a long-term relationship with somebody and you're, what's the word, not asexual, allosexual, you probably will be at some point.
Right.
So I think that actually did kind of help me to ease in to things. I was like, oh, okay, I can be naked in front of people and I can be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So
and you don't have to dissociate.
Yeah.
Like it sounds to me like you were fully present.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. Whereas before, a lot of times it had been me trying to hiding my face, hiding my body,
Shame.
so much shame and not wearing makeup and just trying to blend into the background, or wearing too much makeup and trying too hard to, compensate for things and then being mocked for that. And so it was like a really, really beautiful moment for me, I think, and for a lot of the other people there too.
Yeah, that's a really cool share. Thank you. And that's not in the book, so that's
it's not in the book, so that's an exclusive.
It's an exclusive vulnerable moment. With
but
Mara.
I mean, I'd had nightmares for years because of so much of my fear was people will know me, or people will see what I don't want them to see. So I was literally afraid of being naked in front of people, but I was also figuratively afraid of being naked in front of people.
I don't think people quite understand the shape of fame. I'm going to be very blunt.
No, they don't.
And they think of it as this like golden uppercase letter existence. It's not a privilege when you don't choose it as an adult.
No, it's not. And I think it's kind of unnatural because I think, I mean, I like to get very philosophical about, we're all just tribes of people, that came from savannas, thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yep.
And so I don't think human minds are meant to understand being around more than 200 people, And it's strange to me that I've met thousands of people.
More than that.
More than that.
Sorry,
yeah. I've met thousands and thousands of people, and that is strange to me.
You meet thousands of people, or at least 1,000 people, when you go to a Comic-Con over a weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, which I just did. I met 1,000 people, last weekend, which is so strange.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will come up to me at other conventions and be like, "Oh, do you remember me?"
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, and sometimes I do.
I try.
Yeah,
really
I try
hard
too.
to locate that face and that.
I try too, but a lot of times I'm like, "Oh, remind me of
Or
this.
show me a picture.
Show me a picture
Yeah.
of that."
Yeah.
And there was one person that I met who comments very nice things on my Instagram. And so he came and he was just like, "Hi, Mara, my name's Toby." And I was like, "Oh, Toby, yeah, I know you. You always post the nicest things on Instagram." And his parents were there too. And they were like, "Wow, you know him?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's very sweet."
Yeah, so there's a little hack for anybody. If you
Yeah.
really appreciate somebody and you
Yeah.
know that you'll meet them someday or you'll try to meet them, just say nice stuff. Be kind, fuckers.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thanks so much for checking out this clip for the Vulnerable Podcast. For the full episode, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Thanks again.